This is a typical breakfast I would eat every day. It's pretty healthy and super easy. So I start off with some rice, fresh is always better. Then I move to my table. I sprinkle sushi vinegar and tamari soy sauce on top, just a splash. Then I basically coat my rice in rice seasoning. I love this stuff. I add an egg, avocado, and I add my homemade pickles and top off with bonito flakes, and you're ready to go.
This is the lady of the night pasta, known as Putanesca. It's so good I could eat it every day. Its history comes from Italians throwing any leftovers into a pot with pasta. But this refined recipe is onion, garlic and parsley cooked in extra virgin olive oil. Then add capers and olives and release all the flavors using white wine. The classic recipe has anchovies, but I prefer tuna for the taste. Did you know that the flavor of tomatoes is different when you hand crush them? Try it out. This is going to be magical, just like you are. One trick is to cook the sauce on a low flame for a while, adding pasta water when it looks a little dry. Combine it all and say it with pride. Just gorgeous.
Here's how you make the best Asian fried chicken. First, you need to grab your chicken, specifically chicken thighs. Next, you need your granulated sugar. You need exactly 4 tablespoons of this. Next, you need your mochico flour. You can buy this at Walmart. You need also 4 tablespoons of this. Next, you need cornstarch. And yes, 4 tablespoons. Next, you need 4 tablespoons of soy sauce. Next is garlic. You're gonna want 2 half tablespoons for this. Now for the ginger, you're gonna want 1/4 tablespoon. Time for the eggs. You're gonna want 2 cracked whole eggs. I did 4 because I'm doubling the recipe. Now you're gonna wanna mix the eggs with the other mixture until it's nice and smooth. Once you're done with that, set off to the side and get ready for the chicken. Part 2's up now.
If you've never had pork belly burn-ins, then you're absolutely missing out. Got a whole pork belly, cubed it up, add a little bit of olive oil and my maple bourbon seasoning. Cooked it at 250 for about 2.5 hours on the first bit until they were really caramelized and looked really delicious. We actually switched them from the grill open with the smoke, added it into a tinfoil pan, added a bunch of butter and some brown sugar, cooked it for another hour and a half while we added a little bit of my favorite barbecue seasoning with a little bit of spice on there just so it cuts through that fat. Pulled them off once they were 205 and look at these. They are so freaking delicious. Super tender. Highly recommend it. Cheers.
So fun fact, my mom's Italian. She can make pasta all day long, but rice, for some reason, she can't make it. So a friend of hers taught her this recipe many years ago, and it's just the best way for her to make rice because on the stove, it always comes out really weird. Look at my new slippers. I love Jack Skellington. Anyway, back to the rice. So it always comes out perfect. It never comes out full of water or soggy or sticky. It's always good in the oven. So this is just a good way to try something different. Hope you guys enjoy.
Restaurants always manage to serve the most perfect crispy Brussels sprouts, and I think I figured it out. First, you're gonna wash and dry about 1 pound of Brussels sprouts. Make sure they're really dry. Then you're gonna cut off the stem and cut the Brussels sprouts in half. Continue that with all the Brussels sprouts. Then I made my sauce. You, in a saucepan, add 2 tablespoons of red miso, 2 tablespoons of white vinegar. You want to do it in a really small saucepan, and 3 tablespoons of maple syrup. Then cook it on low heat for about 10 minutes. You want to continuously stir because it'll burn if you don't, and that's how you know it's ready. It should stick to the back of the spoon like that. And then you're going to fry your Brussels sprouts. That's how restaurants get it so perfect and crispy. It takes about 7 to 8 minutes, so be patient and look at those Brussels sprouts. They're so good. I then added the sauce. The sauce was warm at this point, and the sauce is like so umami, but like has sweetness. It's so good.
Yo, what's good? Let's make some tom nướng. Let's go.
All right, we're starting with 2 pounds of 20 to 30 shrimp. And you know anytime we use shrimp, we gotta de-poop these bitches. So go ahead and take your toothpick, stab them in the back, and then just lift that shit out of there. Go ahead and clip off the top and the end bits of your shrimp, and then we're gonna make our marinade. 1/4 cup of sugar, 2 stalks of green onion, tablespoon of garlic, 2 tablespoons of fish sauce, 2 Thai chilies, 1/4 of a jalapeno seeded, and then a little bit of oil and salt. Go ahead and blend that shit up, marinate our shrimp for at least an hour. Then we're going up to the rooftop to grill it. These go super quick. They take about 3 to 4 minutes. You don't want that rubbery shit. But when it's all done, go ahead and hit that with juice of half a lime. And that's our tôm nướng. And, you know, I grew up poor as shit, so I don't waste anything. I eat the shrimp head and all, but let's go.
Fuck yeah.
If you know me, you know you've asked for this recipe. This is my chicken salad recipe. You're gonna shred your chicken like this. I only use white meat, but you can also use the dark meat. Then you're gonna dice up 3 celery sticks. Next, you're gonna dice up some bread and butter pickles. Next, you're gonna add in some old style mustard. It's like ground mustard seeds. I add in 1 big spoonful. I actually don't measure any of this. Then you're gonna add some mayo. Tiny little squeeze of yellow mustard since we already have the other mustard. Some salt and pepper, and I add a little bit of pickle juice. It should look like that. And I just serve it in a big croissant.
I'm about to blow your mind. Take a tomato, cut the top off. Now cut little slices in it just like this, okay? Now spread it all out. We're gonna get some Fresh Mar Premium deli meat. I'm using the salami because it's bomb. We're gonna fill each slice with the Fresh Mar Premium deli meat salami. And you better bet we're putting some cheese on this. Lather that on, sprinkle some seasoning, and end with some breadcrumbs. Transfer that into a baking dish, sprinkle some olive oil, and bake that puppy for 6 minutes. Yo, when this comes out, you won't even believe. It's like a pizza. Yum, yum, and yum.
We're making Maryland style crab cakes. They're gonna be legit as hell. Here we go. First, milk your crab meat. This turns me on. Oh, gently break up your crab meat. Then add your egg, lemon juice, Tabasco sauce, and Worcestershire sauce. Yes, I said that correctly. Now finger blast your country Dijon mustard. Now add your salt, Old Bay seasoning, black pepper, panko breadcrumbs, and mayo. Make sure you add all the ingredients before you start mixing it. You want to mix as little as possible. Do not ruin this. Now chill in the fridge for a couple hours to overnight. Now pour a beer. Drink a beer. Now form your crab cakes, lightly packing them. I used a 1/2 cup measure. Now lightly panko the top and bottom, not the sides. Dust off all the excess. Fry in a tiny bit of oil until golden brown, flip it once, then throw into the oven. 350 degrees for about 6 minutes is perfect. Look at these golden brown beauties, so light and delicate. These are the type of crabs you wouldn't mind getting on a first.
Have you ever seen white meatballs before? Actually, these are a southern Italian specialty made from ricotta cheese.
Ingredients.
Start with ricotta and add breadcrumbs and pecorino romano cheese, a little parsley, salt, and a scrunch of pepper. The egg binds all the ingredients into something sensational, just like you are. Add more cheese and breadcrumbs as needed to make them firm. You want meatball consistency. I prepared the delicious classic tomato sauce with olive oil, garlic, tomato, and basil. Immerse the ricotta balls and cook for 10 minutes at a low flame. Now serve with passion. Just gorgeous.
I wanted to explore food on a different level today. I feel like I needed to introduce something new to my palate. So I took myself to the farmer's market and bought a bunch of fresh ingredients. In a hot skillet, I toasted up my vegetables. I had some cauliflower, some yellow squash, serrano pepper, onion, shredded carrots, then seasoned them bad boys up and let them get nice and toasty and also cook through. Then I thin sliced some fingerling potatoes, tossed them in a cast iron skillet to get a very beautiful crust on them. This dish was honestly very refreshing and tasted really good, to be honest. And these jumbo shrimps were honestly insanely good. They're like mini lobster tails in my opinion. I also paired them with a bunch of fresh scallops. I tossed in a little bit of butter, chicken stock, and Worcestershire sauce and made that into a puree. Then I seasoned up the shrimp and the scallop and went into the cast iron skillet to get a nice crust on both of them. For the puree, I added some turmeric and heavy cream, mixed that bad boy up, and honestly my plating is probably a 4 out of 10, and this dish was honestly incredible. And now final product. And now Bismillah.